episode is sponsored by Outpool Strength Systems. Outpool Strength Systems is responsible for helping hundreds of people get strong, understand how to move properly and why they should be moving that way.
Outpool also understands the power of music when it comes to training. They aim to pioneer and bring together a larger community of people, not only sharing the experience of raving, but lifting properly as well. If you're interested in learning how to move in the gym a little bit better,
Compete in powerlifting or wear the latest rave-inspired merchandise, head to outpoolstrengthsystem.com and inquire with one of their coaches today. Let's go.
How you going, guys? Welcome to another episode of the Scene Down Under, brought to you by Hardstyle Australia and hosted by your favourites VUKZ and TOZA. How you going, man?
Good, buddy. How you going?
Good, bro.
Yeah.
Had a great weekend.
Yeah, how was your weekend?
Very, very good. Started with Adjust.
Ooh.
Adjust on Friday, featuring TONESHIFTERZ at Massive. And yeah, then ended up in Melbourne for No Sleep Entertainment with Adjust and TONESHIFTERZ.
Another one, huh?
Yeah.
Back-to-back dirty double. And you supported in Melbourne?
Yes, I was one of the supporting acts for the boys and really had a blast, man. The No Sleep guys are fucking amazing. And honestly, like, really, really hospitable, nice young crew.
Yeah.
And they're very switched on, man. Like, really, really enjoyed working with them.
Yeah. Looked good, but honestly, like I seen the transformations from the arcade beforehand to afterwards. Fuck, they did a great job. So props to the No Sleep crew. Fucking looks like you had a good time.
I had a great time, bro. And for me, like, obviously, playing a closing set is very hard because, like, you got to retain as many people as possible.
Yeah.
But the place was ran from, like, 10:30 when I walked in. I was like, wow, this place is packed already. And then till pretty much almost all the way to the end.
Yeah, Melbourne knows how to play.
So honestly, props to the boys. Very, very good. And the venue was like, it's not like the usual venue we go to. You know?
Not
like it's got exactly. It's got like just an arcade brand. It's weird. It's like you're there for like games, but then you walk in, it's a rave.
Yeah.
And they decked it out with like lasers. Like I think when they asked the production guys, can we get some lasers? Like how many lasers do you want? And they were like, yes.
But did you get any sleep or no sleep?
No sleep. You got to ride the wave, bro. No sleep entertainment means no sleep.
Yeah, fucking. Well, we had a big podcast last time. Caught up on a lot of shit. Spoke about that stack lineup at Knockout and all the events coming up.
Yep.
But now today, who are we joined by, as you always say?
A special guest.
A very special guest.
Very, very special. As special as they come.
Yeah. A friend of Hardstyle Australia. Homegrown Aussie, one of our favourites.
One of the OGs.
Yeah, and he's here to grace us today. We're very excited to have him. 1/3 of the Three Blokes, the host of the I Am a Hardstyle podcast, along with Brendan Hart. Second biggest podcast in hardstyle history, so...
No hard feelings.
Yeah, no hard feelings. We're number one. Showcasing his Rave to the Grave tour, coming down to Australia, touring everywhere. The man himself... Mr. TONESHIFTERZ.
TONESHIFTERZ.
What's going on, guys?
How are you
going, man?
Yeah, good. It's good to be here. I know we've been talking about this for a while, so I'm happy that I could be here with you guys.
Do you know what? I'm actually nervous for this podcast just because I feel like it's too area. And like I just feel like we're just gonna have like too much of a chill time.
No, that's good, man. I think it's just good to be raw and honest and open about shit. Why not? It's good.
So obviously, like we want to say congratulations for your tour for Rave to the Grave.
Thank you, man.
You know, you got Perth this weekend. I know, like by the time this comes out, you already have played. So you played a good set.
Perth was great, man. It was fucking banging.
Bro, then we did this before Carnival as well. Like, what if something bad happens at Carnival?
Exactly. And you had Canberra last week.
Yeah, so we had Canberra last week, and then of course on Friday we had Massive. And then, Melbourne yesterday was also bonkers. So then, Canberra next week. And then back home to Netherlands.
Perth next week.
Yeah, Perth next week. What did I say?
Canberra next week.
Did I say Canberra next week? Fuck. It was Canberra first, sorry. Yeah.
Now people are confused, like, when was this recorded exactly? But yeah, man, look, tell us a bit more about, like, the Rave to the Grave and what's this new concept you're working on, man?
Yeah, look, you know, the scene's kind of moving in a direction where it's a little more party music orientated. You know, hardstyle's always gone through phases, and every time a new phase comes in, everyone's always like, "Hey, fuck this, bring back the old shit." I remember when like new style kicks first came out, everyone was like, "Fuck the new style kicks, put the reverse bass back in." And it's like it just doesn't end. So it's always like evolving, and every few years you get like a new sound. You get like we had, you know, the normal hardstyle sound come in for a while. Then we had euphoric hardstyle, and you had raw style. Then you got the extra raw. Yeah. So now it's just evolving again. It just keeps evolving. So for me, I've been an artist that's just constantly evolving over the years. If you listen to my music from 2009 to now, it's just completely different, you know. And I understand that from like some fans are like, "Hey, what the fuck? Why don't you make music like you did back in the day?" Because if I did, I probably wouldn't have a fan base anymore. But yeah, the whole idea with Rave to the Grave is that I want to kind of go back to my original sound, but in a kind of 2023 way. You know what I mean? A little more party, a little more energy, a little more, a little more raw. If I listen back to my old album, like that I did in 2012, it was like, you know, really dark and raw. For the time, of course, you know. Yeah. So I was like, why don't I just go back to this kind of party sound and just revamp it and bring it into 2023 show.
No, it's good. You had the crowd moving out massive. It was good. It was sweaty in there. It was fun, but everyone was just moving, bumping the whole time. So that was one of my favourite nights at Massive in a long time.
It was good, man. It was the busiest I've ever seen it in a while, to be honest. Yeah. And I was really happy with Massive, and also Melbourne was, like you were saying earlier, it was fucking crazy, man. They were just dancing the whole night, and I was just like, holy shit, these people don't get tired. Like, what the fuck?
And it was actually like, I was pretty surprised because it was a very young crowd, and sometimes with young crowds are a bit more tricky because you don't know if they actually know the music or not. But these guys actually knew the music. Like, they were, like, I know you dropped a few Sigma tracks and like a couple of like edits and mashups and stuff, and it was really refreshing because it was a very versatile like set.
Yeah.
And like, it was good to see that, you know, because usually like with OG artists, they're a bit like, sometimes a bit more like true to their roots kind of thing, standoffish. But like, I was actually pretty surprised. Like, you played a very like nice set in terms of like different types of music, different types of genres, and you were like going back and forth, and like it was very, very like refreshing to see.
Thanks, man.
Yeah.
No, thanks, man. I appreciate that, because that's actually something I've been trying to work on. I try to embrace change when it comes along, and for me, like, back in the day, we used to always play to build up a set, you know. It was always like
progression,
you know. You got to start softer, and then you build it up, and then you're ending with hardcore, sure. Yeah. Whereas these days, I'm like, nah, fuck that. Everyone used to do that. I want to do something different. So these days, my sets are just like, it's like a roller coaster. Yeah. You just take people on this journey constantly, and it's like, okay, now we have a moment here, and then we break it down again, and we let people have a bit of a rest, and then you go crazy for 10 minutes, you know, playing some, you know, 160, GPF. 170 BPM or GPF, exactly. Yeah. And then you take it back down, and then you can reset the crowd a little bit, because I feel like if you're just constantly playing at the same tempo the whole fucking time, people kind of just get used to it, and they
plateau.
Exactly, they kind of plateau. Like, so keep them on a roller coaster, and you keep them pumped.
Especially with people's what's it called, attention span now is
TikTok,
crazy.
Mate.
TikTok, bro.
Like, hey, I do it too, man. I'm on the feed. Like, I don't know how many hours of the day.
Can you describe your FYP page?
To be honest, a lot of spiritual things, a lot of stuff about XRP. What else?
Ripple?
Ripple, XRP.
I thought it was something else. I was like, bro, what do you guys have in the Netherlands that we don't? I mean, a lot.
And then, just like rave shit. You see like some stuff from like dance.
You get a lot of Aussie shit like while you're over there?
I do.
Yeah?
Yeah, I do.
Fuck yeah.
I'm getting it more so now, to be honest.
Yeah.
But
I do the area now.
Yeah, exactly. But when I'm there, I do still get it. So I still see shit from Aussie.
Do you miss the area?
I do, actually. Whenever I come, I get nostalgia, and I start driving around, and I'm like, fuck, I remember this, I remember that. And then I'm like, that wasn't there last time. And like, it's been 10 years, man, so it's a long time.
And like, fun fact, TONESHIFTERZ and I went to the same school, but it's just like a decade apart.
Yeah, Perrywood High, man, far out.
Shout out Perrywood High.
Have you been to the Stockies there?
Yeah, I was there a couple of days ago, actually.
But did you see the change? Like how much?
Yeah. Because I come every like couple years to do tours or whatever. I've been seeing all the changes as they go past. So there's so much new shit
like
there,
10
man.
years ago, it had like that little square where the Combank was like in the corner.
Yeah.
Max Brenner and Viaggi.
Yeah. You had
Was there a
that,
Max Brenner?
Yeah, back,
they
in the,
or
I
the
totally missed
chocolate
that.
room or something. But they had
Oh, is
Viaggi's
that? Oh, yeah,
and the
okay.
Hoyts.
back when they had the old car park, the huge car park, like right in the middle, but now they're like,
Oh, yeah, they got rid of that.
Yeah. Fuck.
Far out,
it was
man.
a good move, man. It actually looks pretty fresh.
Yeah, it's good. I think they've done a great job.
The area looks okay.
The area is evolving.
No, but it's also good to see, like, I mean, you guys doing stuff and also coming out from the area.
Yeah.
You know, the only other couple guys that I know from the area are like...
Corey and Sam?
Yeah, Corey and Sam, of course. But then I had a mate that I went to school with. He was like 4 years on top of me. And actually it was a spin out. We had a writing session. And my publisher was like, yeah, we have a writer coming in. His name is Tanino. And I was like, Tanino who? And he's like, Tanino Speciale. I was like, what the hell? Like, I used to go to school with this guy. What the hell?
Wait, is this while you were over there? Or?
Yeah, while I was over there.
Okay.
He lives in Norway. So I was like,
no
bro, this
way.
is such a spin out. So
that's crazy.
It's such a small world, man. But
yeah.
it's really good to see, you know, music coming out from here. It's crazy.
Fuck yeah.
No, we're just trying, man. We're trying. Because
That's good.
like I feel like we always say this. Like I feel like after you, Corey, Sam, and Ryan, right, may rest in peace. Like I feel like we hit a plateau for a bit, and then you had like Enderex, Diesel now coming out, Firelight,
Mish, yeah.
and like Mish, and then now it's just like who's next?
That's good, man.
Yeah.
I think we need to keep doing it, and you guys are also building something, and it's really good. I'm really happy for you guys. You know, you guys are doing a great job.
Appreciate it, man.
Thank you, man.
Appreciate it.
It's kind words.
All right, so we're gonna start with the segment,
We're gonna
the VUKZ special.
we're gonna shift the tone of this conversation.
I like it. Puns.
We worked on that one for a bit. ChatGPT.
So, quick question: have you done this before? Can you give us your
ASL.
age, nationality? If you know, you know.
It's ASL.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Maybe you guys are too old for that. I mean, too young for that.
So
You remember ASL?
Yeah, ASL.
a bit younger, but still, yeah. So Tony Montana,
Tell me.
if you could remove one thing from the scene, what would it be?
If I could remove one scene from
Yes.
You are so from the area, cuz. You got class S1 too, bro.
If I could remove one thing from the scene,
The hardstyle
Jesus.
scene, yeah.
From the hardstyle scene. From the Australian scene or just in...
Just the hardstyle scene in general.
Just in general? That's a hard thing, man. That's because if you remove something, then that's like... It's no longer the scene anymore.
You reckon?
Yeah, it's going to be different, you know?
So, like, I'll give you some examples. Like, some of our guests said, like, picnickers.
I mean, I got nothing against picnickers. Have your picnic, mate. Put out a fucking, what do you call it, rug. Have some wine.
Not on a rave, surely not.
Hey, we wanted to do the biggest, that's something we want to do with Three Blokes, actually. We want to do the biggest picnic in the Southern Hemisphere, but we're going to do that one day.
So you're not going to remove anything. You're going to contribute to it.
We're going to contribute to it.
Shit, that's a good one, bro. This backfired.
Maybe that should be the segment.
Hey, cut.
That's the biggest cop out, but I'll accept it.
If there was one thing I could remove from the scene, it would be the fucking nitpicking to do with kicks and stealing and bullshit, and I hate that. I really hate that shit.
Yeah. It's always every week on Reddit. You always hear something else.
Yeah, so that's if there was one thing I'd like to remove, I'd remove that. Yeah. Otherwise, fucking love the scene. The scene's great, mate. Picnickers, fucking oath.
I mean, as long as you invite Ellie to the picnic, he'll be fine with it. Yeah, he'll supply the wine.
The what?
The wine.
I'll supply the wine. Yeah. I'll bring some Dutch wine.
Ooh. Any good?
It's all right.
Don't tell the missus.
No.
You get stuck in a wine tour overseas,
wine tours, bro. I did it in Melbourne. No, I'm not doing it overseas. Yeah, we know you're from the area. What was it like growing up, man?
It was good, man. It's a good life here, to be honest. It's not like a hood or anything, you know. It's not like there's not like gangsters walking around.
Like a joke. It's the ghetto. It's
it was over here. It was good. I mean, there's all my mates are here, all my friends are here. It was kind of weird leaving, actually.
Yeah.
Because then, you know, while you're here, you've got all your friends you can always call. But when I'm over there, I kind of have a disconnect with that.
Yeah.
So I feel like I've got no like history from like a certain point over there.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I like and I miss about the area over here. But yeah, growing up wise, it was good. There was always, you know, whatever I needed was around.
So which area did you grow up in?
Yeah, just in Greenfield Park.
Oh, nice.
Greenies.
Yeah, Greenies.
They got good burgers in Greenies now.
What, the tavern?
No. They had Scoobs there.
Scoobs, yeah.
Scooms?
Yeah.
I'm not even familiar anymore. I have no
Scoobs
idea.
Yeah,
is
it's a
one of
food
the
truck.
best.
Food
Also
trucks are
Greenies
pretty big.
itself is completely different now. It's
Yeah.
like,
Really?
yeah, man. Man. Before when I was young, they didn't have half the shit that was there.
Fuck, no. There you go. So, like, when you were growing up and stuff like that, what was like? Obviously, you're not Australian. What's your background?
So originally, my parents are from Palestine.
Yeah.
We're Palestinian.
Yeah.
They've been living in Lebanon for most of their life, and then they moved to Abu Dhabi for about 10 years. But because we're Palestinian, they didn't have any citizen.
Yeah.
So we needed like a citizenship. So they got an offer to come to Australia, and then we ended up coming here.
Yeah.
But I was born here, so I'm an Aussie.
You're a skip, yeah?
Yeah, I'm a skip.
Beautiful.
Who looks Middle Eastern.
Nah, I've got this like similar situation here. Like I wasn't born here, but I've been here for like almost 13 years. So I moved here 2010.
Nice.
Yeah. So similar.
Yeah. How old are you when you moved here?
12.
12.
You're still learning English, but it's all right.
Yeah.
You like that one, eh? Nah. Growing up, like you said, you come from like a family from overseas. What was it like with the music and growing up? Did you find music first? Did you find inspiration from something else, or?
Yeah, music. To be honest, I was always in musical as a kid. I always used to play the piano. I was a pretty stubborn kid because like my dad would take me to lessons, but I just didn't want to learn. I just wanted to do things like play, make shit.
You don't want to learn off the sheets.
Yeah, exactly. I used to just watch my teacher play, and then I'd just play it, and he'd be like, "Yeah, but you need to learn notes," and I'm like, "But I played it, didn't I?" And it's like, so it was always this thing. I was just stubborn. I just didn't want to learn.
Just practical, because the theory gets annoying.
Theory.
Yeah, like I'm fine with the theory, but more so like reading notes used to really screw me up as a kid, and I just didn't like it, so I just never did it. So I guess I was just super stubborn. But yeah, I've always been musical as a kid, and I used to get my dad's tape recorder and just hit record and just play shit on the piano, and like so that was kind of where I got the vibe and feeling to make music, to want to create music. And yeah, then ever since then, I was always like making music in my bedroom. I'd get like on my computer. My dad's always yelling, "What the fuck is this noise?" When I was making kicks, man, like imagine making kicks at home. That's like, it was mostly my mum, to be honest.
Yeah.
She'd be yelling out like, "What is this noise? Can you stop?" Just on repeat. Doom, 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 doom. So, yeah.
So it seems like you come from a musical like family.
Yeah.
Yeah.
My dad's actually a priest. He's a priest in the Orthodox Church. So he was always chanting at home. He was always like singing, and he was always part of the choir and all these kind of things. So it was always a pretty musical household.
Well, that's good, man. So what got you into like hardstyle?
Was it even hardstyle back when you were around?
No, it wasn't really. I used to do UK hardcore when I was younger. I used to be really into like dance, trance, and UK hardcore. The first hardstyle guys I listened to was like Donkey Rollers, Zani, Showtek, and they were the first guys that really got me into it. And then of course, as time grew on, then you got Heady and
Wildstyles.
The rest of the guys started to pop up. And that was kind of my first experience of hardstyle. But before that, to be honest, I was doing UK hardcore, and then Corey and Sam were just starting Bioweapon, and they were like, "Hey, Q-Dance is doing events in Australia. Why don't you start like a duo, like you and my ex-partner at the time?" So then me and OJ ended up just starting this duo called TONESHIFTERZ, and it just took off, and then we're like, all right, let's go. This is full force.
Yeah, a lot of people don't know. Like you were a duo when you first started.
Yeah, we were
quite some time as well.
Yeah.
Like I know a lot of the people now from the area and stuff. They're like, oh yeah, Ellie and LJ back in the day and stuff like that. But a lot of the newbies don't know as well. So, how was it like? Obviously, starting off, you heard Q-Dance was coming in and stuff like that. What was like was your goal to reach these stages together and like just make your own music, or were you trying to reciprocate something that you heard? Or
No, we just kind of, to be honest, we just were making music and hoping for the best. Like we'd see, like I used to, like at school I'd see like DEF CON videos and I'd be like, fuck, I'm like, one day I want to make a DEF CON anthem or I want to play here one day. And then of course we did it, you know. Yeah, literally manifestation. I didn't know it was manifestation back then, but I was just, it was just cool to be able to reflect on that. Be like, hey, I was looking at this when I was a kid. So of course I always had dreams and aspirations to play at those kind of stages and to do that kind of stuff. I think that's important, you know, for anyone.
So how did you get yourself like set up in that direction to get to think like, you know, you're on the right path now?
You mean like in terms of
music? Like let's say you kicked off the duo with your ex-partner. How did you, like, what steps did you take to get to your goals?
So I had a mate, JP, who's, I don't know, you know JP? Outbreak. I used to be called Nitrous back in the day. He was really good friends with Showtake at the time. And he was also friends with the guys at Fusion. So he heard some of the tracks that we were doing and he's like, let me send the tracks to the guys and we'll see how we go. So I was like, all right, great. So he gave me their emails. We sent over a couple of emails. We sent one to Showtech. We sent one to Fusion. Fusion got back straight away and they were like, yo, this is really sick. Let's sign it. Showtech also got back like, hey, this is really sick. We want to sign it. And then, of course, we ended up going with Fusion first because they got to us first. And that was, of course, a great decision. And from signing with Fusion, then we ended up doing a tour at the end of 2010. And then we moved over in 2011. Basically, just took the jump and just went for it. So it was
straight away. Yeah.
Just straight away, man. It happened really quick.
Yeah. So how long were you like producing before? Like you said, you were always making music and stuff. Like how much were like once you decided you're gonna do it? Was that like a full-time move commitment into it? Or?
Yeah. I'll be honest. I haven't had a normal job. I've just been doing music my whole life.
Working at the supermarket fruit shop.
To be honest, I did work for like a couple of years while I was at school at my dad's deli, like when we were running it. But that's about it, to be honest. Otherwise, I've just been doing music the whole time. I literally, I've been producing music since I was at school. And then when I got out of school, I went to JMC College, did my bachelor in audio engineering. I was also producing music during there, but at the time I was still doing UK hardcore. And then at the end of my time at JMC, I decided to switch and do the hardstyle thing. And from then it was a couple of years, and then boom, we were already in the Netherlands. So yeah.
So we got a mate that's in a similar situation like you, does slave labor with his dad. But I hope he's got the same path as you, man.
Yeah,
he'll be sick.
I mean,
How you going, man?
I was like, who? I was so curious. I was like, what are you talking about, man? Tell me.
But yeah, look, a couple of things. Like, there's two questions I'll ask you about what you just said. Like, one was like, what did you think about like pursuing JMC? Like, because there's a lot of people that like are very like skeptical about it. They think it's a bit expensive. You don't get much out of it. So, what is your thoughts of that?
Look, it depends what you want to get out of it. For me, it was kind of buying myself more time because I had already been producing for years before that. I already had a kind of general foundation of producing. Going to college kind of helped solidify some knowledge in the first year and a half. Then afterwards, it was more like, okay, I kind of know everything that I need to know, but the rest I've got to complete it because, you know, you're doing a bachelor degree. So if I could pick and choose, I would have done like the first year of JMC. But like, I'm not saying that the rest of it isn't useful, not at all. It depends what career path you want to take. But for me personally, I felt like I learned what I needed to learn within the first year and a half. And everything else was just expanding on that, you know? Yeah. And to be honest, at the time, JMC was more like about recording bands. It was, you know, much less about producing dance music, you know? Dance music was such a small part in that whole 3 years. Yeah. And that's actually what I wanted to know more about, you know? Yeah. So that was the only thing that sucked. But that's personally my take on it. I don't think you need it. These days, there's so much online, man. Yeah. There's so much online, and I don't really think you even need to do like a crazy course like that. And yeah, but the only thing for me, I thought, hey, it gives me 3 years. I can take my time, build up a project, an act, and then after that, I can get straight into it. And it was literally perfect timing. I finished in 2009. 2009, we signed our first track. 2010, we did our first tour. And then 2011, we're living there. So
yeah, back to touch on like what you said about moving. Like how like what helped you make that decision like so quickly? And what steps, like how did you know you were ready? Okay, now it's time to move, that's it.
I wasn't ready, man. It was just something like, you know, me, Sam, Corey, and Old J, we used to always talk, and we always have these grand plans, you know, and it's always like, we've got to do this and we've got to do that, and we've got to make sure we got to be in Holland, you know, we got to live there in order to make this happen. So we said, all right, we got to do it. You know, that's what we have to do. We're going to make it happen. Yeah. So we did a tour first to kind of suss it out. We spent about 3 months there, and then we just jumped in the deep end, man. We literally just jumped in the deep end. Look, back then I'm not going to lie, it was much easier for us because there was less artists in the scene. Yeah. And of course, at the time, there was no new, fresh talent at the time. There was literally nobody.
Especially from Australia.
Yeah, also coming from Australia, there was no one coming through. So when we went over, it was something really different and fresh, and we all looked strange. Like we used to wear skinny leg jeans, and like we used to have these spiky Ziz kind of hair, and
the one across the fringe and then the back.
Exactly. You know, we're straightening the fringe.
Yeah.
Man, I look at some of the old videos. I'm like, bro, who is that? Like, what's happening? But we did look really weird, you know. So
we still do.
Yeah, maybe. But like a lot of
bro.
Sorry.
Now it's mullets.
I know, right? With 3 blokes far out. But yeah, we looked strange, man. So they were like, who are these strange Aussie dudes coming over with their skinny leg jeans? We didn't wear shoes either, you know, we wear thongs. we go over there and like Corey's wearing thongs at DEF CON and it's muddy as shit. And I'm just like, dude, wear some shoes, bro. Your feet's black.
But yeah, we had like culture there back then for shoes. I'm surprised Corey didn't have. You know why? It's the WOG, it's the Croatian in him.
This guy's Croatian too.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Makes sense. That's where I met you.
Yeah, funny story, just a quick one. I was on a flight home from Dominator to Zadar for Croatia, and I was just chilling with Villain and TONESHIFTERZ just on the front row. I had first class up the front, and I was like, hey, I'm from the area. I'm like, Hardstyle. I was a bit like, what the hell? What are you guys doing?
No, but your face had looked familiar, and it was a spinner because you spoke to me, and I was like, wait, you sound Australian, and I'm from the area. I was like, okay, that's good to know, man.
Like,
makes sense.
Yeah, but after you came here, went over there, was it like that's it, concrete? We're gonna stay here, push the music, keep going for it, or?
Yeah, I mean, we just taking it as it comes. You know, we did save up a decent amount of money just in case, because you never know how things go when you're first starting out. Maybe bookings are great, and then all of a sudden you get like a little dip, you can't pay your rent or whatever. So we always were prepared for that kind of scenario. I think that's important if you are thinking of moving over, you know. Just be prepared because you never know what happens. But to be honest, everything was going sweet, and we had bookings every month. Everything was good, you know.
Just the stars aligned.
Yeah, it was great. The only reason I ended up coming back to Australia was because I got a little bit sick. I had a little bit of health problems. I was hospitalized in Holland, and it was a strange experience for me. So my parents flew over and they're like, okay, let's take you back home. So we went back to Australia. Then I was here for about 4 years before I decided, hey, I'm not done with this. I need to go back and continue this. Yeah,
so those 4 years while you were back here, were you still making music?
I was still, I stopped DJing for a while, for like a year and a half. But then I ended up just getting back into it slowly. I never stopped making music. I kept making music. I kept releasing. Old J was still in Netherlands at the time, and I was in Australia, but that kind of wasn't working. And we ended up
relationship.
Yeah, kind of like a long distance relationship, and we ended up splitting around 2013. I ended up continuing off with the project, and then he went off just to do his own thing. But yeah.
So is there any other advice you have for people that are wanting to move overseas? especially at this time? Because obviously, like back then compared to now, is a bit different. So,
I'm not gonna lie. It's these days the scene is very saturated.
Yeah.
So it's very hard to stand out. It's very hard to come through with something unique, something different, and that's what labels are looking for these days. You know, to be honest, a lot of labels just constantly get demos, and it's always like, it's cool, it's produced well, and you know the level is pretty high, but it's like they're looking for something special or like a product that they can actually market and grow. So that's the hardest thing. And if you have that kind of support with like, you know, you have a good agent or whatever, then that kind of makes your moving over a little bit easier, because then you know, okay, my agent's going to secure me shows. My label's going to support me when it comes to terms to my music. And yeah, hopefully every stars align for you. But yeah, I'm not gonna lie, it is much harder these days. But because I see like the amount of work that Andrex has put in, man, he's been doing it for years now, and he's only just moving over now. So, and I'm really happy for him. You know, he's really done a good job with that. So, and you saw the same like with Delete. Most guys now, it is difficult, but you can do it. If you put your mind to it, you can just make. You just got to persevere through, be consistent. But you know, if I was to say something, I would say to kind of build your fan base from here already. 100% build your fan base from here. Because going over there and building a fan base, you might suffer with that a little bit. You know,
that's what we always say. Like anytime someone asks someone like just like a basic bit of advice, it's like just build your brand, build your image.
Exactly.
And like obviously you're not going to get booked your first gig in overseas, so you may as well just build a fan base here, grow your fans, get to know them here. So then that way, once you start growing, you can get feedback from overseas and stuff. Yeah, like that's some things we tell people.
Definitely,
obviously, I'm not like the guy to ask because.
No, but it's like definitely you should be like networking with like the Dutch guys, the DJs, because them playing those tracks, you know, one track would pop off of yours, and then all of a sudden that sets you up for playing, you know, some big shows. Yeah. So you know, you just got to look for those kind of moments, and you'll feel it. You'll know when it's the right time to go. You know.
Yeah. I feel like if I could equate it into my terms, like a sports league as well. Like when a new league starts, like everyone's just gonna get as much people. But now it's like you need like a Cristiano Ronaldo or a Messi or something to do something hectic, and then you know we'll bring them over. Right? That's how I feel like it is now.
Yeah,
it's good, but like it's separate because like there's a lot of music, like a lot, and
it's a lot, man. It's a lot of music.
Like it's weird because like you have like let's say 50% sucks completely, and people just upload it for fun, and you got like 30% that's good. 20% that's like really good, but sometimes it doesn't get picked out. So yeah, it's tricky. But you made it. So
yeah. I mean, so now that you've been in the scene,
I hope so.
No, you're still around, bro.
You played like Defcon Red and all these like big stages already. So I think
Icon.
Yeah, it's pretty huge, man.
What was that? Did you?
Icon was a good one.
Yeah. What was your favorite one?
You mean from Australia?
Like, yeah, in Australia.
Icon was pretty sick, to be honest. Yeah.
Especially because it's a one-off show too.
Yeah, they only did it one-off, but it was such a good show. It felt like an outdoor climax kind of feeling. It was weird, man. I really enjoyed it, and it was a shame that they could only do it once.
Yeah, I swear that's the most talked about event ever. In Australia.
Bring back Icon.
Yeah, I mean, what if Pete just buys the brand and just like, hey, can I use Icon? Sorry, I'm just getting political now.
But going from like playing, so moving over there and then coming around here playing like Icon, Defcon and stuff. Last night I was just chilling at home and I was actually watching Hardbase, The Last Formation. Right, like these like some of my mates went.
2019?
2019. Some of my mates went and I was like, man, to be at that Hardbase would have been amazing. What's it like? Like for me, that's like one of the biggest events of all time, especially playing the last one. Yeah. What was it like, man? Because I seen you smiling the whole time.
Yeah, it was fun, man. We worked hard on that set. We wanted it to be so energetic and just pumping with like, just hits after hits. It was great, man. It was really, really good. I've played Hardbase a couple of times before that, and every time it's just it's mind-boggling, you know. Just a sea of people.
and
the production is always nuts.
Especially like that was the only hard bass I've ever been to, but it was really special because obviously it was the last one.
Yeah.
But also like it looked like it was like a when you're sitting at like a wrestling event or like a UFC event, and then you see like it looks like you guys are in a ring. That's what it looked like from like, especially on the stands. Like it was like half a ring kind of thing. And then the whole concept of like the portal comes down and then they put
the beam.
And then it goes up, and it was pretty sick.
I mean, they always come up with crazy things production wise. Even if you look at like Climax, man, they have like the lights that come down now. I know HSU is also doing that now. Like this, production wise, it was just phenomenal, man, and it's a great event to play at. It was good because me, Aftershock, Brennan Hart and Corey, Code Black, we got to do that all together as like an I'm Hardstyle thing. So that was really, really, really cool, and it was a good vibe. It's definitely one for the memory bank.
Because like you think about it like that, like how I always seen hard bass as, it was always like a little bit of every like genre, like old school, new school, like raw and stuff like that. So to be like, I know you said you were part of a couple of them, but to be part of the last one, I reckon that's pretty cool as well, man. Like, especially to showcase.
People will always remember that.
That last one,
Yeah, like it's always like that. Would you say that was one of your biggest events, or what was your personal like milestone?
I mean, that one was definitely a big one. It was, I think it's about 25,000 people. So it's huge. I think for me, it was always DEF CON in Australia, actually.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I know it's a lot smaller, but, when me, Corey and Sam ended up doing the anthem all together, and we ended up closing for the home crowd, and that was for me. That was like one of my. That was it. That was like one of my biggest goals. I was like, I'm so happy that I achieved this right now, and
especially since you manifested it.
But yeah, I was really, really stoked about that when I did it. That was when I first had that feeling of like, okay, I've really achieved something now.
Mum, I made it.
What year was that?
Mum, wallah, I made it.
See those kicks? They worked.
Dun, all day. Was worth something. Nah, but it was good, man. That for me had a special place for me.
Yeah, what year was that?
2016.
16?
Yeah.
So 5 years after you made your initial...
That was my first DEF CON.
Is that your first DEF CON?
Yeah.
Awesome.
That's when I turned 18.
It was mad.
So your first...
Still remember the melody.
Yeah. That was a hard anthem to do, to be honest.
Did you feel pressure?
There was a lot of pressure, because, Corey and Sam were overseas and I was still living in Australia.
Yeah.
And I was planning to move over there, but at the same time, we're working on the anthem. And it was really hard to work,
time zones, man.
Yeah. And not just time zones, but also like to convey ideas back and forth for an anthem over the internet. It's really difficult, let alone in the same studio.
And this was probably Skype days where everything took forever.
Yeah, it was really hard, man. But it turned out great in the end. The product was good. I was happy with it. At the time, I was like, I can't listen to this anthem anymore. Please, someone help me. But afterwards, of course, once you detach from the whole negative shit of the creative process, then I was like, hey, I like this now.
Yeah. It's like when I listen to his music, bro. I hear it here, I'm like, bro, it's enough. And then I hear it live, I'm like, yeah, I like it. It's all right.
Live, when you listen to music live, it's always different than in the studio.
Yeah.
When I'm in the studio, I'm like, I hate this. I really hate this. And then I export it and I play it out and I'm like, fuck, I love this. Yeah. It's so bipolar and I don't really understand it.
I think the crowd reaction plays a big part of it.
Yeah.
Because like playing something for the first time and like just seeing how people react to it, it's like crazy.
It's also because you're being creative in the studio and you're just like, I don't know if this is good. Like, I think it's good. Yeah. I like it, but I also don't like it. But I'm also not sure. But we'll see.
You got to give it the car test or whatever.
Yeah, exactly.
Fucking straight into the car.
The car test.
Just right back in the day, were you in the sex spec stage? Were you around then?
Sorry?
Were you around the sex spec stage? Or?
Sorry, I don't know what that is. What's a sex specs?
Sex spec back in the day when
So
I was
remember, like, all
the lights under the car, underglow.
Oh nah, bro. I had none of that. I wasn't really into the
cars.
So you're
the whole
not
car
area.
thing. Nah,
No,
nah.
yeah. So no KK's drives.
Nah, like me and my mates, we used to hang out around townies, which is
Townies?
Yeah, we called it townies, but they're like townhouses near
Oh, I thought this was a suburb like Newtown.
No, it wasn't. It's literally like 10 minutes from here. So we always used to hang out. And my mate used to always, no, just it's like Perrywood, but like north. What's the area called? It's like
New Leaf?
just before Wetherill Park, industrial area. Anyway,
Okay,
we used to
yeah.
hang out there like when we were kids. We used to do stupid shit and like drive around in cars and. They all had their cars, but I was never really into that kind of shit.
Yeah.
So
As long as there was good music in the car, you were
yeah,
all right.
I mean, everyone had you had the sub in the back, and
Oh yeah.
I listen, they crank it up, and like you hear, like your hair's shaking.
Especially if you're in the back seat, bro.
Yeah, bro. Backseat Bandit's best.
No, it was. They were always fun times, of course, but yeah, just area things, right?
Yeah, pretty much. Just everything.
You can take the kid out of the area, but you can't take the area out of the kid.
That's hilarious, actually. When I first started doing the I'm Hardstyle podcast, that was actually someone's comment on one of the.
Oh, no way.
Yeah. Was that you? That's hilarious.
Was it actually you? No way. How long ago? That part so you do a podcast with Brendan Hart here and there, like when you're around. How long has that been going on for now?
I think ever since 2020, so roughly about 2 years now. Yeah, we've been doing it consistently now for every month. Of course, if I'm on tour, sometimes Corey jumps in. Or sometimes he gets Kenneth from Audio Tricks to jump in. But most of the time I'm doing it with Brendan Hart. And we do it, pretty consistently, once a month. We always bring over like an act and something special, for the second hour. It's
not
good.
as good as ours. Production is not even close to as ours.
No, you guys got something good going.
We've got things, big plans, but
It's good, man. It's good.
It'll take some time.
Maybe we can use his gibrology to fucking use, man.
Yeah, nice one, guys. We'll get a good.
Need the
It's
Wi-Fi
good.
password.
No, but like that's what we always like. I always listen to podcasts like outside of music and stuff like that. And then I've seen like the I'm Hardstyle podcast as well. I've watched it for a bit, and like I liked it, and then that's where we got the concept. Like we were speaking about this for like years and stuff, but like we just want to get to know the artists. Like you guys have those like segments, like your Hardstyle dilemmas and stuff.
Yeah.
But sometimes you just really want to know about the artists. Like people know you as TONESHIFTERZ, people know you as like I am Hardstyle, stuff like that. But people don't know like you used to be a duo, like where you're from and stuff like that. So it's really good to connect with the artists and stuff like that. So that's pretty much what like we're trying to do. And like it's good hearing stuff like driving around, cruising from the area and stuff like townies, which is a suburb.
It's just the things that people don't know about artists, like especially like first name, which is a really simple thing.
Yeah.
Half the people don't even know like an artist's first name.
Yeah.
So Elihi, just so you can remember.
It's actually not Tony. Surprise, surprise.
It's not TONESHIFTERZ.
It's not.
It's not Tony. So it's not Tony the Shifter either. So.
Yeah, you heard him first.
So tell us a bit like about like what is the biggest highlight of your career, you reckon?
I don't really have like I said before, like with the whole DEFCON anthem closing main stage in Sydney. That for me was like the point where I felt like I really achieved something. But there's always points in your career that are like that feel like that,
Yeah, like a milestone.
Exactly, and after a while, it just becomes like, okay, what's the next milestone? What's the next milestone? What's the next milestone? It was always like for the first time I went to Asia, that was always like, wow, I'm in Asia. So I've been to almost every continent now, except Africa and Antarctica, of course. I mean, there's nothing in Antarctica. It would be great actually if we
penguins are cranking. I was seeing some videos on TikTok.
Penguins having a good hack, But yeah, actually just actually sometimes zooming out and looking at, hey, like I've actually been able to travel the world and share my music with so many people. That's an achievement in itself for me. So there's always milestones. It's never like oh, this is the biggest one, because
Yeah.
I mean, you might play like at an EDC and then you might play at like a really big festival the next week, but it's not like one is better than the other or one is
Everyone's
bigger.
it's a different experience.
Exactly. Every time is different, and they're all a great experience in themselves.
So what's the next milestone for TONESHIFTERZ?
The next milestone for TONESHIFTERZ, I don't know. We'll soon see.
What are some of your goals at the moment that you want to tick off?
Some of my goals for TONESHIFTERZ is I still want to do a climax. I never got to do a climax, actually. That's something that I would love to do.
Fuck, man, that's deep, bro. I almost cried just then. I was like, fuck, man, give this guy a climax, please.
It's not like that at all. It's more like
Just because of like the
because like
it's always been like my because the first time I was exposed to hardstyle music, it was actually at Sensation Black.
over there, yeah.
So, no, that was kind of the first time, like not over there, like on YouTube, like when I was a kid. So I used to watch that shit and I was like, fuck, that's so cool. It was like Sensation Black and Defcon. And so I got to do Defcon and I was really happy about that. And Sensation Black for me basically became Climax. And for me, Climax was always like this thing, like I always wanted to do it. Like, so that's one of my goals now still to do. I would love to do it one day. Yeah, I mean, I did Hard Bass, which is in the same venue. And that's obviously phenomenal.
It's a Gilderdome?
It's the Gilderdome, they take out the grass because it's a soccer stadium normally, and they just got concrete.
Vitesse stadium,
But yeah, that's one of my goals still to do. Musically, I want to keep evolving and keep trying new things. But I want to kind of build a kind of TONESHIFTERZ 2.0 sound, and I'm searching now,
TONESHIFTER.
No, but like with what I'm doing with Rave to the Grave right now, like that kind of party shit. I dig that. And I used to do that in the past, and I was like, I don't know why I stopped doing that stuff. I just kind of went down the vocal euphoric kind of route for a while.
You did a great job there, bro. I'll be honest with you.
Thanks, man.
Bro, Rise Up, that's still on my playlist, bro.
Thanks, mate.
It's one of my favorite tracks, man.
Yeah.
So good. Boys are talking about it as well, JD as well, fucking mentioning. Like, bro, back in the day, and like, those euphoric days, like, I know we won't get them back, but fuck, man, they were some of the best days.
Look, we're getting a lot of classic shows popping up now. And they're getting more and more popular, actually. I think there's kind of a divide that's happening in the hardstyle scene at the moment. There's a whole group of people that are like, I hate the 50,000 kicks in a track. And then there's the they just want the older sound. And then there's the younger generation is coming in now, and they're like, I just want to rage, give me more, So it's kind of like a little bit of divide, and you're kind of finding like classic parties are starting to
branch off on their own.
To really grow in popularity.
Earlier this year I was at Reactivate in January. It's run by Rebirth.
Yeah.
It was actually pretty cool, man, because I was there for exclusive, and then I didn't even know it was on. I went with Sins of Insanity, Tim.
Okay.
So he couldn't make it to Supremacy, so he was like, just come to this party, we'll meet up. So it was a day party. So it was convenient.
Was it like a festival or indoor but day?
It's indoor. The venue is like 013, I don't know.
Okay. Oh yeah, Nil 13.
Yeah. In Tilburg?
Yeah, in Tilburg.
Yeah,
That's actually my old hometown in the Netherlands.
Tilburg, everyone talks about Tilburg.
Yeah, because he's from like close to Tilburg.
Yeah.
Yeah. So he was like, come to this party, and then we'll meet up there. Catch up. It was pretty good, man.
So many classic
like they had like Digos and Redone on like the second stage. They had all the it was hosted by Third Chords, I think.
Yeah.
They had all the Third Chords guys like just playing classics. Like Kane played a set.
They had some. They had another classics one. I think Corey played it at it as well. Was it the Gold? I forget what it's called. But it was like a classics. Like it was all like Max and Forcer was there.
VWAB.
Time Machine or something.
Oh, there's also Tide Machine. Yeah.
Yeah, that one. Bro, they're coming out like as just classic events, and it's like the old school music.
It's great. We're planning a classic event at the end of the year now, so I'm happy about that actually, because I haven't done a classic show in such a long time. So it'll be fun. It'll be good to play some of those old tunes. Because whenever I play classics, it's always a good vibe because people are just actually remembering all the nostalgia from back in the day.
Roxy's, bro. Roxy's under 18s, cuz.
Far out. Supernova, bro.
Oh, bro, the days. Back in the days.
That's how we started. Like, we started with under 18s.
Yeah.
Like, Summer Break, Supernova,
Roxy,
ID Black.
There are no more under 18s, right?
Man.
No, just
the
like
last
no more
one's
under
like Cloud
18s.
9 with like Hetty and like Prophet, but that was like 2016 or something.
Far out.
Now Roxy's isn't around anymore if you don't know.
Yeah.
So they got rid of it?
Yeah,
it's still there.
but it's
Nothing's happening to it.
So it's just abandoned?
Yeah, abandoned.
It's just abandoned. It's still there in Para. Nothing happened to it. No renovation. No
was the
nothing.
best.
It's still like someone probably lost the key or something.
They couldn't get in.
Yeah, it's like
Fairfield
fuck,
Showgrounds
just
is
leave
still
it there.
around.
It becomes it's gonna become like in another 5 years becomes an ancient fucking place, bro.
the ruins
Yeah,
of
the ruins of Para, bro.
Far out, man.
Yeah.
But Roxas was always good.
But to think about it, like from when I started going under 18s around like 2013, 2012 until like 2016 when I obviously turned 18, bro, we've had like some nuts like under 18s. Like I remember seeing Showtake at ID Black and I was like 15 or 16, bro. And I was like, what the fuck? This is crazy.
Far out.
I've seen like, I think in 2017 or 2016 they had, I forgot the name, but it was like Zanny, Wild Stars and
That
Headhunters.
was Cloud 9.
Yeah, no, it wasn't Cloud9.
Here in Sydney, right?
Fame under 18s. It was Fame under 18s.
Far out. These names, man.
Yeah, Fame
Bring
under.
them.
It was at Roxy's, and they had like Wild Stars, Zanny, and Headhunters,
Yeah.
and they were all bald. So the flyer was just all like 3 baldies.
But
bro.
that's why when we like going back to when we first went to the Netherlands,
Because everyone was bold.
everyone was bald, bro. So we came over with these crazy hairdos, and everyone's like, "Bro, who are these weird cunts? Like why? They look so strange. Like they come out of a different planet." But like
In thongs and
that was normal here in Australia,
peacock,
man. Like
Yeah, it was.
stovepipe, skin leg jeans, you know. Just,
Bro, they're all skinheads. Like, it's either football or raving or both.
Oh,
We're
man.
lucky, yobbos.
but now everyone's got hair now, you know. Everyone's just like,
No, bro,
You'd hope so.
like,
Ashley
let's-
Martin.
Let's take a moment and like see the difference between like the Aussie and the Dutch crowd. We got like activewear, and then they dress up to like they're going out to like
Clubbing.
clubbing.
yeah.
They all dress nicely, man. To be honest,
They dress nice, but it's like, see, in Australia, we've got like 2 extremes. So we've got cash, and then you've got like dolled up, you know, heels, dresses, all that
Yeah.
kind of stuff. And you don't get that at like HSU. HSU, it's just like
Activewear.
It's like activewear. You know what I mean? But in Holland, they dress up like they're going out, but it's semi-cash. You know, they wear boots. They wear because you know it's muddy there. It's raining. If you go to a festival, 9 times out of 10, it's just a mud fest. You know what I mean?
Like, I got lucky on both of mine. Then Dominator and Defcon last year didn't rain at all.
like
During the summer, it's okay.
Yeah.
But like, I remember the first year of DEFCON, that it was at the new venue, so not in Almere. It was in the area called Biddinghuizen. Man, that was the year that Corey was wearing thongs as well. And I was like, bro, like it's so muddy. People were like slipping and sliding around.
It was like Icon.
Yeah, see, Icon was raining a lot. Far out. But it wasn't muddy.
I wasn't there. That's just the comments I read.
No, it wasn't muddy. It was raining a lot.
Yeah.
But it's a racetrack, bro.
Yeah.
It's basically on the road.
Now it's an airport.
Is it?
No.
Like, bro, what else did they change? Jesus.
bro, you got me too. I was like, what?
I just wanted to see your reaction. Nah. There's some cars that take off tip. I don't know. Do you ever see any videos from there still?
From the dragway?
Yeah.
Nah.
Bro, some cars fucking fly. I swear. Could be an airport.
Probably. I mean, you've put some wings on it.
So it was at Eastern Creek, yeah?
Yeah, was that Eastern Creek?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ask him, bro. Who played
drag-
Why are you asking me?
Man, it was the best, man. It was
I don't
like,
know, you seem like the professional you, bro.
Oh, I just read Reddit, bro. I've never been to a hardstyle.
man, it was great, man, because I was like, this is the first time I don't have to travel yonks to get to a gig here in Oz.
Oh, yeah, bro. You would have driven what?
But it was like 10 minutes. I got there. I mean, we get the parking cards so we could park on site, whatever. It was great. And then I was done and I was home within 10 minutes again. I was like, fuck yes.
Like, from one of the biggest events to drive 10 minutes. How good was that feeling?
Bro, they had a earth core in fucking
Westlands.
Westlands,
Yeah,
bro.
the Parklands.
Actually, is that a thing here, like bush doofs? And
Used to be big up
Used to
before
be.
COVID.
But I don't know. I think that was.
'Cause I saw a few popping up on TikTok at the moment.
Yeah, I think. Yeah,
Oh no,
it's
Melbourne has a heaps, bro. During
yeah.
Carnival, they had like a pitch. It was like a 4-day bush doof.
Are bush doofs predominantly like psytrance, or did they do like
No, you got
hardstyle
you got drum and bass. You got
Okay.
like techno.
Well, when they drop hardstyle, they get the best reactions as
Yeah.
always.
So what are your guys' thoughts about like
Early hardstyle, hard techno.
yeah, like what do you guys think about that?
The whole new like, I don't know, bro, but I
don't know. To me, they're different. I see that they're different. I don't know. Like, if I was to go compare, like, early hardstyle seems a bit slower, whereas techno seems a bit faster. It's got like more
pace. Okay.
It's a similar BPM.
You reckon
but
though?
It's more pace.
I mean, early hardstyle was like 148,
yeah, it didn't have too much
149,
drive.
150.
It was just
And then
like bouncy.
Yeah, hard techno is like 140 to 145, but it's, I feel like the tracks have more drive and a bit faster.
Okay.
Whereas early hardstyle was just dark, kick.
And what do you guys feel of like it coming into like hardstyle a little bit? Because there's some hardstyle techno influences happening at the moment.
I don't mind the crossover and stuff
Yeah.
like that. Like, I don't mind genres. I genuinely love when genres mix over. Like, for example, like Deadly Guns, he's one of my favorite artists. And I love hearing heavy metal and hardcore. Like, it's fucking sick.
Yeah.
I love all that shit. But the thing, like, what I don't like is just when techno artists like play a track, but it's like a reverse bass kick, like a hard style, like a proper hard style kick, and they're like, "Oh, this is the new techno." It's like you can do techno, but just don't call it like techno. You're using literally like reverse bass kicks or techno and shit like that.
Okay.
I think for me personally, like I think it's good because you expose two different crowds to different music.
Yeah.
And maybe this crowd will start coming to hardstyle events, and eventually, like both kind of genres will grow.
I personally like it. I think it's interesting to see, especially like the younger generation coming through, and they're like, "Oh, this is mad techno," and it's like, okay, maybe if we expose these people to actually some early hardstyle, they're gonna be like, "Oh, this is really sick," but it's basically the same thing, you know?
Yeah, because you're not just gonna give them like Rebellion or Adjust straight away.
Yeah, exactly, and then they can kind of ease their way into like into other hardstyle genres.
Yeah.
That's actually how I got into techno, because I never really used to be into it. But then I don't know if you've heard of Boris Brejcha.
Yeah, Boris Brejcha. Yeah, I seen him overseas.
Yeah. I actually really dig his music, and it's like more minimal techno.
He's so cool.
And I was like, all right, this is really cool, interesting music. And then from that, I started to kind of listen to more techno, different artists.
It all like samples and stuff. Like I listen to like people like Paul Van Dyke and stuff like that, Boris Brejcha. And then like I used to love Camel Fat and stuff like that. But you can see where everything, like you can see everyone gets like a bit of taste of everything.
Yeah.
But like on TikTok sometimes I see there's this one guy now, his name's Shlomo or something.
Yeah.
He does like I seen a video from him. It was at a Rotterdam like techno event, and like he ended with like a bit of a harder kick and stuff like that. But it's cool, like they're just progressing onto it, because then you can bring those fans there like, oh, you reacted like that to that. Let's show you something similar this way. So that's what I like. Like, I don't care. Like, I would go to a techno event, but I would love for techno people to come to hardstyle events. Like, I don't mind it. More people, the merrier.
I think the difference fundamentally is techno is really about the vibe and the train, You're just on the train.
Yeah.
Whereas hardstyle is more about the rage and the explosiveness, It's like you give people a break, and then all of a sudden you're building up, and then you drop in really hard, and it's like 50 million kicks again, and I'm like, everyone's going nuts. Yeah. So it's a different energy, you know what I mean? But I actually see a lot of similarity between like the really raw stuff and techno now, because the really raw stuff is really go, compared to what we used to do.
Yeah, it was just the melody, the screeches. Oh,
exactly,
I was like I always say, like, I'm not going to complain. Like, my favorite era of Raw was when everyone was coming up. Like, you heard, like, what was it? Fucking, like, D-Block and Estefan with High Voltage creating shivers. Like, that's sort of like the start. You had B-Front with Magic and all that. Like, all that music, like, that's what I love. That's how I know Raw as and stuff. I'm not going to complain about the new stuff because I'm not going to miss out on hardstyle. I love hardstyle more than I love, like, any one genre.
Yeah.
And, like, that's, like, the genre, like, the period I loved the most was those, like, screeches, those dark and eerie, like fucking Alpha Twins and stuff like that. Fucking Jack's sound. That was such a good time.
Yeah. And I think at the end of the day, like It really depends on the person too, because like you got people who the people who listen to multiple genres, they don't mind it.
Yeah.
But the people that are genre specific, they're the ones that are gonna like mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The elitists.
The elitists.
The purists.
Purists. The harami salamis.
TOZA,
Yeah, mate.
ask
Take over. All right. So we're moving on to like the next segment, which is another question.
All right.
It's not hardstyle related, but it's what is the most awkward situation you've been in? The most uncomfortable situation you've been in?
Off the top of my head,
Yeah.
I don't know actually. I'm trying to think.
the casting couch you're sitting on.
I mean, I hope it's clean. No, I mean, I don't. To be honest, I can't really recall anything right now. Awkward.
Just like an interaction or experience you've had, or like a situation you've been put in, you're like, fuck, what do I do? This is pretty awkward. Or like something uncomfortable, like you're
Me
like,
on the
oh
plane.
shit. Like you were really put in a fight or flight mode. Like, oh shit, what do I do?
I don't really think I can't really think of anything, man. To be honest, I'm kind of
Chill.
chill. I can kind of play things off and
Yeah.
and just move on
What
from
about
things.
fan
Like,
interactions? Nothing.
no, like I'm usually really happy to speak to fans. I don't really get any awkward interactions. Sometimes some guys get a little starstruck, and then they're talking, and then they're just like, that's maybe the only awkward thing, because then after a while, it's the conversation dies because obviously I know nothing about this person, but that person obviously knows a lot about me.
Yeah.
But then of course, I don't know. That's maybe the awkward as it gets, really. But but I don't have an issue with that. That's
Fair enough.
yeah.
It's all right.
I mean, I don't know if that's an answer for your question, but
No, I mean,
I mean, we'll take it.
and then we'll just move on now to some fan questions because we got a few people. Yeah.
let's do it.
I think we saw some really good
I
ones.
can already imagine a few, to be honest.
Yeah.
How big is your... No, I'm sorry.
All right, so we'll start with Zach Hansen. What's something Australian crowds do best than the rest?
Chant.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
You love the fuck yes?
I love it, mate. I think it's
Really?
great. I mean, I made a track about it, so
Yeah.
You'd hope I like it.
But,
but I think the chanting thing, Australia does it really good. You know, we've
'cause
got
you don't
so
get-
many. We've got fuck yes, we've got oi fucking noise, we've got the Aussie oi oi. It's good, man. It's like I always liked it because then you can interact with the crowd and stuff.
Because you
It's
don't
crowd
get it much
control. It's part of
overseas.
crowd control.
No, not much. I mean, in Germany, you've got zika zaka, and then they go oi oi oi.
We should go to Germany.
That's a new
sounds
one,
fun.
man.
Kevin.
Yeah, you know what? One, like, actually, you know, I don't want to say it because I know people will start fucking saying it again. The hey hoes.
What?
Like, hey.
Yeah.
I haven't heard that in a while, actually, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I read every gig, mate.
Oh, I don't know.
You play too many gigs then, mate.
Like yesterday, bro. Yesterday, no sleep. Every drop. Fuck yeah.
Yeah, but that's typically Melbourne, man.
Yeah, Melbourne's big with that.
Melbourne
chant.
I think started the whole fuck yeah thing.
Oh, there you go.
I think it was Melbourne, to be honest. Yeah, and it kind of
Confirm
spread
in the comments.
and then it kind of
If you started it, bro,
look.
I
Let
wanna
us
have
know
a
in the
chat with
comments if it was Melbourne.
Yeah,
If
I
you
want to have a
started
chat
it-
with you.
Yeah, I
bro.
want to have a personal chat with you.
Next question.
Okay. Sugar High Rush. Any TAC team releases this year?
Yeah, we're looking at it. To be honest, it's been a little bit chock-a-block with Corey's new live act. Tim's also got his live act with the boys, and then we've also got 3 blokes. In between, of course, we've got all the tag team stuff. So we've been discussing what to do. But we're gonna have a meeting about it when we get back, and then we'll figure it out. Hopefully, we still got the music. It's kind of like a Project One album situation.
Just on hold.
Yeah, it's just on hold because of COVID, and it was a really shit time actually to start the whole thing. But yeah, it is what it is. So we'll see how it goes. We'll keep you guys posted.
For sure. All right, next question, same person, Sugar High Rush. How did the Three Blokes act start?
It started as a joke. Literally, we did a show in LA.
Was that for BassCon?
It wasn't EDC, but it was for BassCon. It was for the Insomniac crew.
Yeah.
We played at the Academy. Or was it the Academy or was it Exchange? I can't remember which club it was. But we basically we did an Aussie night. We all played solo, and then at the end we had like a back to back, you know, and that was really fun. It was just chaos and mayhem. And then we're like, hey, afterwards we were kind of like thinking like, hey, this is a really good concept. What if we turn this into like a project? And like, well, what are we gonna call it? And I was like, we just gotta be stupid, bro. Just something dumb. I'm like, what about Three Blokes? And then it just stuck, and then we just continued doing it. So that's kind of how the name came along. And then we did EDC because Insomniac loved it. We almost we basically sold out. And then we did EDC. Then we did EDC again the next year, and then we did another LA show, but this time it was a Three Bloke show. So and that's kind of how it started. And now we're doing a DEF CON set now, and we're just taking it as it comes, you know.
Midnight as well.
That's right. We did Midnight as well.
That was honestly fun, man.
That was funny. I wasn't sure how Aussies are going to react because overseas people are always like, oh yeah, Aussie, yeah, fuck yeah. But then like in Australia, everyone's like, oh, what are these dickheads doing? Like, you know, I wasn't sure if that was going to be the vibe. Fun. But we tried to make it as fun as possible. Yeah. And
obviously like your collab with Colin too.
Yeah, that was cool.
Who's old mate Dan, bro? I want to hit him up.
Old mate Dan. I don't know who that is. I mean, it just kind of rhymed with the lyrics, I guess.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Do you like that stuff? Like, say, sort of like how JPF does their thing. Do you love just taking the piss out of it sometimes?
These days, yes. Yeah. Look, when I was younger, I was always like, nah, it needs to be like this, nah. But then I stopped. I'm like, why am I so rigid? Like, just let go, man. Chill. And I just realized, you know, don't be so serious. Just enjoy life and
send it.
And exactly, just send it, mate. Just fucking send it. But you know, just enjoy life and just have fun. He gives a fuck. Like he gives a shit if you put some Zard kicks.
Yeah, fucking know.
You know what I mean? Like,
TONESHIFTERZ love Zard kicks, bro.
Should I make a track with Zard kicks? You don't know. You tell me.
Yeah.
I saw them.
Me or these guys?
Yeah.
I think TOZA's already doing a few with some Zard kicks. I mean, I heard some last night.
Fucking.
What'd you think? Honest.
He's got an album before Project One, bro.
Nah, what'd you think?
It was good. I watched the first half of your set. It was. It was really good, man.
But he gaffed it, bro. He messaged me. He's like, bro, who's this bloke?
No, but I could hear it because we were in the back room.
Oh, yeah, they had a speaker in the
green room.
Yeah, there was like the music was everywhere. So I could hear it, and I was like, "Fuck, he's going hard, bro!" Like every track, like, I was like, "Holy shit, man, what's happening?" But go hard, bro. Maybe it's your thing. So
got a bit of gated, bit of distorted. Almost zags, you know, like it's fun. Like,
it sounded cool, man. You got to send me some stuff.
Yeah, done.
I've never heard you say done cooking.
No, say less. Next question.
What's something you regret in your career?
Something I regret?
Yeah.
I regret moving back to Australia.
Yeah?
Yeah. We kind of had a really good momentum at the time.
That was a pretty quick answer.
Sorry?
That was a pretty quick answer.
Yeah, I mean...
Someone who's spiritual, are you still pondering on this? Or?
No, I'm not pondering on it, but it's I've made my peace with it. Like, you know, I wouldn't be where I am today without going through that whole ordeal. Yeah. But if I was back then and I would have changed something, that's probably something I probably would have said, hey, instead of moving back home, we have a pretty good momentum going with TONESHIFTERZ right now. I think I need to stay here, you know, and... but of course, you can't control getting sick, right? So, but yeah, I mean, I think I'm happy where I am right now. I think I wouldn't be where I am right now without that kind of situation. So
it's at the end of life's experiences, bro. Like
I don't know if regret is the right word. It's
one
like
thing you could change, maybe. Or...
No, but it's like it's something that's. They kind of think of like, oh, what if? Imagine if I stayed there, you know, it would be a completely different situation, maybe. But
you wouldn't be here right now, honestly.
100%.
No, but that's kind of how I feel about that.
Fair enough, good answer.
That's honestly fair enough, man. Like at the end of the day, look, like I said, experience is what make you who you are now.
Of course,
Like, yeah, so.
of course. And maybe I needed
Yeah.
to get sick. Maybe there's a life lesson I'm gonna learn in
It's Mektoub, bro.
a number. Yeah, exactly. It's written.
So another question is, how did how did your family react when they found out you were permanently moving to Holland?
Of course, they didn't like it. You know, my family are Middle Eastern, so the idea of making music was so foreign to them.
Anything like creative is like, what the hell?
Oh, man, not even creative. Like even if you're not a doctor or I don't know,
Lawyer,
like a lawyer or an engineer
Top
or
three.
something.
Anything else, you're a failure.
You're a failure in life. Stop putting your head in the clouds and go get a real job. You know,
Until the money starts rolling. Then.
But I mean, my dad's proud of me now. Of course, he sees what I do, and he kind of understands it now.
Especially coming from a musical background, right?
Yeah, he kind of understands that. But in the beginning, it was tough, man. It was hard, like just constantly butting heads about things, and then you say you're moving over, and they're like, "What do you mean you're moving over? Where are you going? Like,
Where?
what's happening?" So it was always those kind of conversations. But
It's the guilt trip, bro.
exactly, man.
Fuck.
It's always the guilt
The
trips.
guilt trip. I raised you all these years.
Oh no!
You're gonna leave me.
And now you're gonna leave me. Allah ma'ak.
I think we already answered this one, but your thought. I'll follow up on this one. Thoughts on Zard kicks?
All right, look, I'm not gonna like say that I love them, but I think they're cool. Like to just drop in a set. Like why not? If you have a couple tracks like that. I mean, I know you do a lot, Toza. Like basically half your set was Zard kicks.
Yeah,
but
witness half his set.
but that's your thing. I mean, like for example, I can't play a whole set of GPF. You know, but the thing is, if I go to a GPF set,
You enjoy it.
It's really fun, you know, because he's got this whole thing, and it's like it's just a joke, you know. He's throwing
Fucking
huge inflatable dildos and all stupid stuff, and it's just
one
being
hits you in
stupid.
the head, you're like, fuck.
Exactly, and it's kind of it's also like what we're doing with Three Blokes, just being really stupid, and just having fun. But yeah, with Zard kicks, for me, I mean, like you were saying, like I play a pretty versatile set these days, kind of a mixture of everything. You know, keep everybody kind of happy on the dance floor. You're basically playing for the crowd. So a couple Zard kicks, I'm down.
Yeah. I was gonna follow up on that with it's caused a lot of controversy, but like I love it. Corey's new act. You a fan?
Yeah, I love it.
Obviously, you're gonna be supportive, but like, do you like when DJs take that direction and step?
Yeah, like for me, I think reinventing yourself is very important.
Yeah, big time.
If you look at, like, if I can give the example of Tiesto, you know, a lot of people are like, you know, when Tiesto did Adagio for Strings, he was in his prime. And I'm like, okay, maybe he was pretty big at that time, you know, and Adagio for Strings was like God tier, you know. Yeah. But if you look at it now, he's the top 50 streaming artists, not dance DJ
just in
or
general.
anything, just in general. Wow. Top 50 artists of the world. And that's now, you know.
Like current, yeah.
That's now. Like actually, if anything, he's in his prime now. And he's been reinventing himself every few years. So I think it's great. And I think we've had a lot of great music come from Corey in terms of the euphoric stuff. And it doesn't mean that he's never probably going to do it again. But it's just a new approach. And I respect that. And I think that takes a lot of courage. And I think props to him for doing that. I've been following him the whole step of the way. Like, you know, ever since we went through COVID, he's been kind of looking for a new direction in the studio, constantly making kicks and things. And
he's mentioned it on the podcast as well. Like I know when I listen in, when Rebellion was on as well, they were working together as well on a lot of the things. So it's good to see like even those collabs happen. Like tell me like 3 years ago, like just before COVID, that Code Black and Rebellion would be sitting in a studio together. You'd be like, what? Like, you know what I mean? It's good to see that.
Of course. I mean, people always have their reservations about things. Yeah. But I think he's going to do really well. And if I know anything about Corey, he's one of the best sound designers that I know. He can literally just listen to something and make it. Yeah. Like, we just be like, oh, that kick is so mad, I'm just going to make it. That lead is so sick, I'm just going to make it. And then eventually it kind of grows and it becomes his thing. He makes it his thing, you know. And that's how he created the whole euphoric scene, you know. He's the one that pioneered the whole thing. And so many people ended up following that bandwagon, you know. He basically pioneered that scene. So I think for him to be changing path and doing something different, I think it's
props to him, especially for building like a name like Code Black and stuff to divert to a new thing.
Exactly right, man.
Good on him, man.
Exactly right.
No, respect, man. Honestly, like, we're pretty supportive. Like, you know, his euphoric stuff was fucking sick. So we're looking forward to see like what he brings out.
Yeah.
And hopefully we see him here soon and with this new live act.
So far, so good. That first song.
For sure.
So good.
All right, so this another question from Joey Curry. Hey, what's your go-to Aggie flavor?
Go to Argili?
Yeah.
If anyone doesn't know what Argili is, it's like the shisha. I think double apple probably.
I said it under my breath. I don't know if you heard. I
swear, like that's the first thing I was like, bro, please say double apple. Please say double apple.
Yeah, I think.
No, me,
I don't really do it often, to be honest, but whenever I do it, it's usually like either a double apple or like a watermelon.
You want to get after? There's a place around the corner.
Let's go.
From Brad BPM, what's the TONESHIFTERZ name origin story?
The honest story or the fantastic story?
The honest.
Honest.
We want to hear both, man.
The honest. Basically, we wrote a whole bunch of names on a piece of paper at the time, and we just went through them and cancelled them out. And literally, it was like the idea was like, okay, so in hardstyle you have kicks, you know, and the kick's a particular tone in the frequency spectrum, and then you pitch those kicks up and down. So like we shift the tones a little bit up, we shift the tones a little bit down. Hey, tell me about tone shifters, because back then it was like noise controllers, you know, head hunters,
audio
that,
freak,
you know, that kind of stuff. So we're like tone shifters, maybe that works. So that's kind of how we got the idea.
It's funny, names stick after. Like you always think, like you pick a name and you're like, this sucks.
Man, names are really weird, like, but they, like you said, they just stick later. Like once you develop like a following with it, then it's all of a sudden it's cool.
So what was the other story?
There is no other story.
We got gypped. Next question is from Adam Buck. What was it like to be involved in the early hardstyle scene when you were a pioneer of it?
It was weird, man, because I kind of...
Did you know it at the time? Sorry.
I didn't, to be honest. I didn't realize what I was part of, because, of course, I came from UK hardcore. So then when I started making hardstyle, of course, I'd listened to like Zani, Donkey Rollers and stuff, but in my mind, it wasn't really like hardstyle. It was kind of like this...
Hard trance.
It was just kind of this thing that was hard music, and it used to be like I used to have like a repertoire of like Scott Brown and whatever, and that was kind of like hard trance, and everything was kind of in my mind just mashed together. It was all one genre. But then when I came back to it later, I didn't realize I was kind of in the early phases of hardstyle. And of course, back then it wasn't the early phases; it was the current sound.
Current sound,
but yeah, it is kind of cool to see that I was part of that era, and yeah, I look back at that, and it's definitely some nostalgic moments. So it's good to be part of that. It makes you ponder other things, you know, like, oh, it's really, really interesting. It's a lot of names that I used to listen to as a kid that I ended up working with later.
Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah.
And it's really good to see like you're pretty open-minded with music. Like you're not stuck in the past. Like, you know, okay, well, I've done this already, now time to do something else. Yeah, which is really, really good. But yeah.
Yeah, 100%, man.
I'm just reading through all the questions.
More questions.
I've got a question for you while you look for another one.
Yeah,
all right.
Just do the next one.
Which one? You pick one.
It's literally the next one. This one.
Oh, I'll go back to my question after because I want to.
Yeah, we'll get after.
Yeah.
Wait.
How long did JD take to make, and what was the inspiration of JD?
So JD, so I did a version with these. I sampled these vocals and I chopped it up, and then I sent it to Fusion, And Bus at the time from Noise Controllers used to do the A&Ring. He'd listen through some music, but oh, this is good, this is not, whatever. So he heard that and I was like, hey, this is really sick. Can we do it as a collab? So I was like, all right, let's do it. So then I literally just sent him the parts. And then he sent back his version. I was like, all right, this is sick. And that was basically the track. So it actually didn't take that long to do. It was kind of a matter of a couple of weeks and it was done. Yeah, that was...
Now it's like a fan favourite. So there you go.
Yeah.
There you go, you finished it off and that's it.
Yeah, like to be honest, originally I had a kick bass in there and it wasn't triplet, it wasn't it was more straight.
Yeah.
But then he flipped it and he, instead of having a kick bass in the beginning, he put his Noise Controllers, nice kick in there. So yeah, and then it was really cool, kind of cool product that came out at the end.
There you go. Do you want to ask one more from the Instagram?
We only got like 3 more anyways.
Do them, just ram them
Cass
out.
Daddy Official, who was your inspiration growing up and why?
DJ Sash. DJ Sash was one of my biggest inspirations. I used to listen to a lot of the music. I grew up with a lot of it. I bought his album, Trillennium. That shit was on repeat, you know. I mean, these days we got Spotify, you got so much music. Whereas back then, you know, you bought an album and you cherished that album, you know. You listen to that thing on repeat every day. It was in a Discman. Sometimes you had to hold the Discman upright like this because it would skip, you know. And,
I don't know, I can't relate.
yeah, because like back then the Discman used to skip if you were running or whatever, just walking home from school. So then eventually they got these Discmans that had an anti-skip function. You're like, fuck yeah, I can walk now with it in my pocket and it's not gonna skip anymore, you know. You press the button and it's like, yeah, I got no skip now for like a good minute and it's
Wasn't that a Walkman? Because you could walk with it?
That was Discman, bro. Walkman was the cassette tapes.
Okay, so that was even before.
That was before that.
Fuck.
I'm
before your
It's
time.
the thing that like it's like this
I know,
and it opens
what
up.
it is, but
it was
just
like
like-
always grey, right?
Yeah, it was grey.
Because people didn't know what colours were back then. Discman, colorized.
It was this metallic
That's
looking
why it's
thing.
Game Boy Color, eh?
Yeah.
But yeah, definitely Sash.
Second last question.
Alex Thetics, how old were you when you got into producing? So how old were you when you properly got into it? Like, full on?
I think I started producing when I was like 16.
Like that was your first time you could fully, from start to finish, make a track?
Yeah, like I think when I was 16, I was dabbling in production stuff. Back then there was no tutorials or anything, so you had to just try shit to learn.
Yeah.
I think I had my first release when I was 18. I did a UK hardcore track. It's called Pretty Eyes, actually. My old DJ name was DJ Illuminate.
Is your music still up?
It's still there. It's still online. But yeah, those were kind of the beginning days. But yeah, I think I started producing around the age of 16.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
It's a good age.
Yeah.
You're like
Very young.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Still maturing and also still like young.
yeah, it was still quite young back then, but learning.
Not a question, but a comment. Till Daybreak Meets, this was a album that was ahead of its time. What was the motivation?
Yeah, I don't know, man. We just wanted to. I really had the urge to do an album, and you know, at the time we were still together, me and OJ, and we decided to do this like kind of dark. It wasn't, like for back then it was, you could say, like on the harder side of what we were normally doing. But yeah, it had a particular vibe and a thing going, and maybe it was a little early. Maybe we came in with that sound a little bit too early, because you found a few years later that dark raw thing came back in. So yeah, I mean, personally, I want to redo a lot of those tracks again. You know, I want to kind of. I feel like I wish I could do those tracks like now.
Now, knowing
you know?
what you know now.
Yeah, knowing how like with production and everything, I would love to recreate some of those things. Some people are like, nah, man, leave it the way it was. You know, it was a classic, but I like to revamp things. I think it's definitely something I would do, but yeah.
Well, looking forward to it, man.
Thanks, man.
Love to hear it. Yeah, for sure.
I had a question. It was from earlier when we were talking about classics and stuff. We had Sam Audio Freak on before. They announced Bioweapon and all that stuff. Would you, like, if they tour and stuff like that, would you want to do like a TONESHIFTERZ, like an old school set with them? Like, as part of the Bioweapon, you could do like 3 blokes, Bioweapon, TONESHIFTERZ back in the day. What do you reckon?
Yeah, I mean, it's something we've spoken about.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
All right, no.
It's definitely something we've spoken about. You know, maybe doing our own show with just us, and then of course you could have it like we do all the classic eras, then you go into like the new eras, then you start doing all the live acts. Yeah. So like just us 3 alone, we could fill up a whole whole night. You know,
have like your own climax sort of night.
Exactly, and but we've spoken about this a few times, and maybe it could be something on the agenda.
Maybe, man, just make it happen.
Yeah, just do it.
Manifest.
Just
Just manifest it.
Hey, I'll get you some Ray-Bans and some fucking Gatsby, and we all go for the classics era.
That's it, done.
No, but yeah, we've definitely spoken about it. So let's see what happens.
Better be here, but
Yeah, I think it probably would be.
Yeah.
He is probably our biggest fan base, seeing as this is basically the home crowd. So yeah.
Awesome. Anything else you want to ask, Toza?
no, I think we've covered it a lot, man. Like,
Collab, bro?
talk off cam. Oh yeah, is that kicks?
I mean, if you want.
Yeah, nah, we'll fucking oath.
Honestly, it's been a pleasure, man.
100%, man. And honestly, like, just having someone at your caliber on our podcast is pretty sick. Like, very experienced, very OG. So we want to, on behalf of me and Vukz, like, we want to...
Vukz?
Hey, I have that too, man. Like,
bro, you copped it before.
Yeah, I know. That's why I'm doing it, bro. You're getting it back. No.
I didn't say that.
No, I have that too, especially on the radio show with Brennan Hart.
Yeah.
Sometimes my voice just randomly, you know, just cracks. And I'm just like, I don't know what it is. Maybe it's the Middle Eastern in us.
Yeah, I know.
I love
That's all right. But yeah, on behalf of me and Vukz, man, like, we really want to say thank you for joining us, and really, it's a pleasure, man, to have someone in your caliber to like come and bless our podcast.
No,
we had Audio
pleasure.
Freak as the first episode, and this is the 11th episode. So maybe on the 21st episode we can get Corey.
Yeah.
If we can catch him at the right time. But yeah.
Funny story, Corey actually played, I don't know if he ever told you, he played at King Tom randomly last year. Before.
Yeah, he did. He told me that. We used to go under 18s there, man, when I was
back in the day.
When I was still at school.
Yeah, there you go. Fucking King Tom still has events down here and there, bro. Yeah.
But yeah, man. So yeah, thank you again for joining us. And if there's anything you want to plug, your social media, TikTok, MySpace, whatever in your era.
Bebo.
No, I mean, on my Instagram, obviously, it's just TONESHIFTERZ. I'm basically really active on Instagram. Try to respond to as much as I can. Sometimes it's really hard, but Facebook is also just TONESHIFTERZ.
Any projects or businesses that you're starting, maybe? Maybe an OnlyFans?
Yeah, OnlyFans, TONESHIFTERZ. But yeah, I think it's people can just Google TONESHIFTERZ. It's a pretty unique name, so it comes up pretty easily.
He's not going to get much more followers than what he's got
Is there anything you want to add, like something about upcoming projects, maybe live acts or whatever, like you just want to throw here as an exclusive for us? Yeah.
To be honest, I'm just happy that I could do this Rave to the Grave tour to promote the release. I'll see where this goes. I like things to be organic. I don't like to plan too far ahead with things, because I find that you kind of can fuck it up. But sometimes it's good for something to be organic. So if I think this Rave to the Grave thing has something in it, and I might pursue it further into like a concept and maybe into a live act or something. But I have no idea yet what we're doing. So we'll cross that bridge when we get there.
We'll be there to follow that journey, man.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
Appreciate it.
All right.
Thank you for
You
coming
want to
down.
hit us up with our... Oh, sorry. You were saying? Sorry, man.
Thank you, bro. Thank you. I appreciate it.
My bad.
Thank you again. And as we always do, if you guys check out our sponsors.
That's what I was going to ask.
Yeah, I know. You don't have to tell me. OutputStrengthSystems.com. Check them out for all your rave attire. And if you want to look as good as TOZA in a singlet or TONESHIFTERZ. But yeah, check them out. They're our sponsors. They're our favourites. Again, Ellie, TONESHIFTERZ, thank you so much, man. Appreciate you coming to the area, from overseas, and taking some time out of your day, man.
No, it was a pleasure, man. It's good to be here, and I'm happy to do it.
What's it like being on the other side of a mic now?
Sorry?
You're usually giving the questions and stuff.
Yeah, true.
Is it funny?
No, I'm pretty comfortable these days from doing the radio show, just to be in front of the camera and a microphone. Some people get like really, I don't know, like scared of it or something. But for me, I'm pretty comfortable with it. So it feels the same. It just feels like I'm just having a conversation.
We're also not as intimidating as we look.
Yeah, we're all right.
Gotta get more jacked, bro.
Hey. Anyways, that's it for us. Thank you so much again.
But before we go, please like, share, subscribe. 5 stars on Spotify. Leave us feedback. Tell VUKZ how shit his haircut is.
Hey,
and
don't touch it.
Fuck, how much gel do you have?
No, it's not. It's not gel. It's the powder.
The powder?
The powder. You know the powder?
Yeah.
Looks like someone else, but
Let me guess, is it white?
No. No comment. Next question. Anyways, thank you so much. Leave a like, comment, subscribe, share, and we'll see you on the next one. Cheers, guys.
Have a good, Sunday, good day, whatever. Good chat. See you later.
See ya.